we are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and champ fans. I hope you're all well. We just at the end of Italy versus Switzerland. Italy won 3-0. I mean, utterly dominant again. But that's secondary to an absolutely huge night of Super League action that we've got coming up. And I'm absolutely delighted to say that I'm joined by the Northern Burn, third place Northern Burn, manager Ian Edwards. How you doing, Ian? Yeah, I'm all right. Back from my break. Yeah, trying to give everything a bit of a fresh outlook. And yeah, looking forward to getting back into it. You're on good form of recent, aren't you? Northern Burn beating Bostock on Sunday. Two seconds, Ian. I'd hate to interrupt you, mate. It's just that a couple of people in the chat are saying that they can't hear you. Now, I can hear you fine. And I can't work out why I've not changed anything. If you just keep talking. That's on my mark. Well, I can hear you fine, so it would suggest that it's something my end, but I've got all the audio's inputs on audio input capture. Let's put Ian. Okay, make source visible. Ian, keep talking now, it's microphone. Yeah, we're not any closer to getting this right, so yeah, it's not that. Let's turn that off. Just not getting anything from there. Let's run through it one by one. Not yet, mate. We'll get there. Everybody's saying it, mate. I wouldn't have stopped everything if everyone's saying. Hodgie saying you can hear you, but it's not what you're saying. Duggan's saying it's like we're listening to next door's domestic through the wall. Steve Wright saying nearly muted is Ian. And I don't want to have to kind of make you shout. That's not what I want. So I'm just gonna. I hope everyone in the chat can forgive me. I'll just try and suss out what's going on for a couple of minutes because yeah. I mean, Ian's coming through my headphones loud and clear. No, it'll be something on my OBS, but I just don't understand why anything would have changed. Come on. Audio output capture.
I never change anything.
I think I've sussed it, mate. If people in the chat could just confirm as soon as Ian gives us a yodeler-hee-hoo.
Yeah, I won't be doing that, but I'll just speak in general. If anyone can give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, we've got him. There we go. Yeah, a little bit of a technical issue there, which has been rectified. Thank you everyone in the chat for being so, for being so prompt and helping us out with that. So yeah, Ian, you were saying us that how you're on an absolutely charging run and you're going to win the league.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think anyone who has been around the league long enough knows I'm not that type of character. But yeah, I think what I was saying, obviously that nobody could hear, was I think unfortunately for Scott's lads, they caught us in a bit of a perfect storm. He had injuries to 2 or 3 key players. We went in unchanged at home, so they were probably on a bit of a hide into nothing. Unfortunately for them, because the cards were kind of stacked in our favour, and even at 1-0 down at half time. Obviously, we made no changes because we felt like we were dominating the game, and it seemed like there was no need to panic, to kind of quote a legend of the league. And so left as is, feeling as though it would come along, and as Scott said in his tweet, Maxim doing Maxim things, but ably supported by a decent 9 or 10 lads behind him, and we take quite a bit of satisfaction from that, because if anyone's been watching Super League long enough, they'll know that there's not many seasons, if any, where Maxim has done Maxim things, to be honest.
No, you're completely right. And a couple of defeats on the bounce back in December on the game, but since the turn of the year, that's 4 wins and 2 draws, up to third in the league. That's kind of putting you in kind of pole position now to kind of, 2 wins, do you think, and you've made it there into the playoffs? Is that what you're...
I'd love 2 wins and a draw. I don't think I've ever seen anyone not make it on 41, so 2 wins and a draw would sort of chill me out a lot. If we don't do it sort of with 6 games to go, then I'll be a little bit disappointed. I think 2 wins and a draw would be lovely.
Indeed, that would definitely do it. I think you're right there. But as kind of Mr. Champman Swan said, even if you kind of do the thing. So at the moment, 29 points is in the top 6. If you kind of take that 29 points, divide it by the 20 games played, and times it by the 26 that we're going to get played, that only comes to 37.6. So do you mean 38 points would make it on this run of form? But I think no one's going to be aiming for 38 points, are they? It's do you mean for well, if you get 2 or 3 teams on 38 points, then a couple of teams are going to miss out.
And you don't like to take anything for granted, so you're always looking for a little bit more than you possibly need.
Indeed. I'm not going to go through it game by game. Obviously, I want to try to do a quick fire show tonight. Quick word on without going into in depth. Haggis on a bit of good form at the minute, and Hull's in the mire.
Well, it would be remiss of me not to mention Haggis's current run of form, as I've been already instructed via social media by the Haggis manager that I have to give him a good mention anyway. But yeah, if you look at Swan's stats, Haggis 5th in the form guide over the last 5 games. The last couple of games, they've been as impressive as anybody. And so all the questions about when they were doing okay, was it Tato or was it Ian, and Ian took a back seat. And now there's a really impressive little run of form that's coincided with Ian taking sole control. So you've got to give that a lot of credit there, really, because there's been a fair bit of pressure there for him, and he's handled it well, and he's come out the other side. And whether or not it's too late for him to make a realistic run at the playoffs, I don't know. He's normally been there or thereabouts, as opposed to having to make a late charge. But 5 points off Fulchester is definitely doable. But you are obviously chasing a decent manager in Macca, so yeah, it's a massive ask. Hools, I guess Jens will probably be wanting me to say as little as possible about their situation at the moment, because he can't really buy anything at the minute, can he? Jens, which is a shame. And we know what this league's like when you get into that sort of a run. I certainly know what it's like. It's hard to arrest a run like that.
Yeah, I mean, the way you look at the table as well, I mean, you're looking at Hools and you're saying that if they win every game, they're only getting on 39. So you think they're pretty much out of it. No. So Bostock and Haggis, they have to win 5 out of 6. You know, you'd say that's it's not very likely, is it? To get those 15 points to get there. I think it's definitely within the realms of possibility. I mean, it would take something special for these two to do it. It would definitely be definitely an option. Well, not an option, to the wrong word. It's definitely in the grasp of Gazelles, Leddersford, and Astor. It's not gone for them yet.
And Leddersford just look like, they've caught that wave that they caught last time out, but they caught it a bit later on in the season. But they just look like they've found something. I think it's all well and good saying that, like, 10th, 9th, they're chasing down 6th position. But when you've got someone like Leddersford in 8th, chasing down 6th position and looking as impressive as anybody, then it just makes those guys' jobs a little bit harder.
It does indeed. A few big games tonight. I think the two teams up at the top, obviously two high scorers in the Devils and Sloths, which should be a good fun watch. Dragons obviously top in the league. Tough ask for Tato to go there and get something. Fulchester in bad form, not won in a while. I think they would definitely see the game at home to Dudley Hill as an opportunity to get that bit of form back going. Gazelles, Locomotive, interesting one, because Locomotive, I mean, not in the best of form, not in the worst of form either. It could be an interesting game. Yeah, in its last chance saloon for Scott, I think, away at Hools, and Jens just trying to arrest some bad form and kind of rebuild for next season. This is a big game as well for two teams which are chasing that top 6. It's like a last chance for Haggis and Leddersford, as you mentioned, on a bit of form. And then you've got, I mean, what on paper should be a home banker. Obviously, there's no such thing in the Super League, but yeah, on paper at least. Where should we start tonight? Ian, anywhere that you fancy having a look at first? Should we do first game and match of the day, or are we doing last game and match of the day?
Well, I kind of like certain games that don't do an awful lot for me, and I like to maybe get those out of the way first. I would maybe look at going Hools Bostock first. So
let's do that then. Let's do that. I mean, if you're classing Hools and Bostock as the two boring teams, then fair enough.
You're putting words in my mouth there, mate. They're not boring. They've been involved in some fantastic games this season. I just look at some of those fixtures and they sort of like get the mouth watering. This one's maybe not one that gets my mouth watering so much at the minute with the way the league is.
Yeah, so 4 defeats and 2 draws in the last 6. Not great out of it this season. Gone for a more... I think there's 4 teams this week gone for this formation. It's kind of a regular Super League setup. Big players in big positions. It's been a bit of a head scratcher why he's not up there for whatever reason, especially with players like NDI, Liverani. Is tonight the night, or are they? Is form against them?
I do think tonight's the night, and not necessarily just because he's got NDI back. I think also we have had a sneak preview via Twitter of Scott's side, and he is looking to blood a couple of younger players as well. Xiao Pava, we know, can score goals up front, but I did notice that Rivaldo, Kutuzov, and Van Nistelrooy do have Ashley Lythe to aim at, so I think there is a bit of a glimmer for Hools tonight, in all honesty.
As you mentioned there, Scott's team is live. He's gone with this kind of single line train through the middle. Not one of my favourite things to do. I probably would have put DC up top with Paiva and gone with the kind of the 4-1-3-2 wing backs formation. Yeah, it is a few kind of champ legend kind of players rather than the big names. He has brought Zinedine Zidane back in though, which obviously might raise a few eyebrows. He's been good and bad this season. Obviously dropped after an 8 and a 7 last time, which is quite interesting. They moved into
not exactly fully fit either. So
yeah, I think this Martin sent the packs out. It was on a swap with the reserves week, but I don't think he included the reserves in the packs. I'm not too sure. You can confirm that for me, Ian. But were your reserves in your pack, or were they not?
I don't even look at. I don't think I brought anyone up this season. I don't look at my reserves. I'm not interested in rocking the boat. My first team squad pretty much stays as it is, especially since my reserves never win and no one ever plays well for them. I don't really consider moving anyone up, moving anyone down.
Fair enough. Anyway, I think that's the reason why Zidane's a little bit off the pace. He would have been in the reserve game yesterday and brought up. Yeah, Ashley Life, apparently we're checking out because he's a monster. And to be honest, he does look good there, doesn't he? Tackling 20, marking 20, positioning 20. Wow.
Well, I seem to remember. I thought we clicked on him a little while ago, and he looked awful. But that's incredible compared to what I thought he looked like. So perhaps he's either had an absolute growth spurt, or my memory as one of the elder statesmen of the league now is failing me.
Yeah, it's really solid. I mean, the only thing you're looking at is the kind of acceleration pace. That's the only concern you'd have. But 19 years old, I mean, his stats are really well developed, and that's like, I'm not surprised Scott's going for him there.
Yeah, I may have to revise my prediction here.
Well, let's get some predictions from in the chat as well, because we're ready to go with this one. I feel like I've been life benefiting from that E. I'm not aware of what Champ Megahorse is saying. Is his actual name spelt differently? I don't know. Hodgie saying he likes life. He's class, tackles all day. Long that Mon, says Mr. Tato. 1-1 Mr. Megahorse goes. 2-1 says Duggan to Bostock. 1-1 Swindon Devils. Dimble going prediction of life 6 after we've built him up. Josh Lane's going for a 7-0 Bostock win. And what do you say you're going for? You're going for a Hulls victory tonight, is it, Ian?
I'll go 3-1 Hulls.
0-0, no pens given, says Jens. But we kick this off. Nice little bit of black and white to get us going. And Van Bommel at the early goal after 7 minutes. But then the Alpaiva fires right back. A nice, exciting start to the night. That's what we like to see. 16 minutes gone. Liverani, Zidane, both involved. Rivaldo coming forward. Coco involved a lot on the left-hand side for Hulls. Look like they've had the better of it so far, but it is one apiece. Kutuzov, Rivaldo floats it in the left. Van Nistelrooy unlucky with an effort there. And something went over from Alpaiva. And as we get towards half-time, Zidane went close.
Excellent first half of football.
Yeah, I expected more on the stats screen, if I'm being honest. 4 shots to 3 on target, 3 shots to 1 on target for Bostock. Action zones definitely in the Hulls' favour. So quick at those 2 goals. Ndai headed the ball down for Van Bommel. Andre punched it clear, and Van Bommel picked up and finished. And then it's an Ariel Ortega cross from the right wing, and Halpaiva got across to get the ball in the back of the net. Hulls Vikings in.
Yeah, I think it felt like they were in charge for most of it. I think 17% in their area kind of suggests that a little bit. I mean, obviously I think they were missing Ndai last week, weren't they? And he slots straight back in there and makes 7 out of 7 in the tackles, 3 out of 3 in the headers. Is on a 9 at half time, and they feel that little bit more solid. And when he puts Matt Van Bommel in at central midfield, he seems to get a tune out of him as well. So it all kind of bodes well, really.
It does indeed. Jens, let us know he's got no changes. That's fine. Scott, you the same, mate. Let us know if you'd like any changes. 6s and 7s for Scott and Bostock at the break. Obviously, Ortega picking up the assist and Halpaiva picking up the goal. I don't think he'd be too disappointed with that first half performance, considering the place he's put in there. Ashley Life getting the 6 as predicted by a few people. Lizarazu winning 3 out of 3 tackles. Ortega with the 2 key passes. It's interesting to see here if Scott makes any changes. He's bringing Giovanni on for Zidane, who's got his standard 6. I thought he would have given him a full run tonight, but obviously not the case. Giovanni comes on. So a quick look at Giovanni. His stats look pretty well developed, actually. Just one appearance, one start, one appearance off the bench last season. Nothing at all this season, but he looks pretty good. Quite a young player, 23 years old.
Yeah, I had him. I inherited him originally at BTEC when I very first joined the league all those many moons ago, and he did. He was one of those guys who he'd have an 8 and a 6, an 8 and a 6, throw in the odd 5, and he wasn't ideal. I mean, fair play to him. He's stuck him. He's moved him over because he's obviously the AMR RC, so he kind of fits in there. But yeah, one call that Scott's made there, great. João Paiva, we talked about, can score goals. We remember Rob getting a few goals out of him at one point, so we know he can do a job in the Super League. And good call from Scott, bringing him in there. Certainly one for next season for him.
Yeah, and I think it's similar to David Collins because of his low current ability or starting ability, whatever it is, and he's got high finishing stats. He's ended up his finishing seemed to be better than what it actually is. I mean, similar to David Collins. So he's got a couple of players like that, Scott. We'll not get too much into the intrinsic, but there we are. Let's kick off the second half, and Zidane obviously going off. I've not seen much of David Collins actually so far, which is strange. Looks more like.
No, but there's a lot of white and red there. But now all of a sudden, Hools are coming back into it. Penalty not given.
Van Bommel goes close. 10 minutes to go. The second half's gone a bit quicker than the first one.
5 minutes coming up.
Oh, Van Nistelrooy. Just the yellow card there. Just the yellow. Oh, Van Nistelrooy. He's on his last one.
He hit his bonnet, hasn't he?
Ooh, Lizarazu had a shot. Costanzo saves. Could be either team that wins this, or neither. Coco loses possession. Van Bommel picks it up inside his own half, and we see Samuel going past someone. Mr. Blaine spotting the early incident. Oh, Van Bommel with the yellow card there, and Andre goes off injured. I'm just going to do the quick spot there for Eleftheropoulos because I can't see much.
Those unsettling last-minute changes.
You pouring yourself a drink there, Ian?
I've got a little bottle of red on the go, mate. Sorry, was that a bit loud?
No, mate.
Speak next time.
You're alright, mate. This is getting ridiculous. Obviously, Jens after a penalty. Rivaldo hits the goal wide.
That's it.
And that is it. 93 minutes gone. Hull's had the better of it, but couldn't get the ball over the line. Finishing being an issue. Again for Hull's midfielder scoring. The strikers absent as per usual. And Mr. Blaine obviously not giving them a penalty. I think there was a few issues. I don't see anything inside the box though. So he's Hull's with no pen, laugh my arse off, says Macca. Good game, lads. Champman Swan, completely agreed there. A quick overview of the Hulls. Sixes from Costanzo and Sanyo. Costanzo letting in his only shot on target. Not what you want from your goalkeeper. Apart from that though, 7s and 8s. Kutsuzov has not featured much, not warranting a place really. Rudy Van doing okay, but he wants goals from Rudy Van, not
he does.
Yeah, not wishy-washy performances. As usual, midfield, Liverani, NDI, Van Bommel. Yeah, can't be really sniffed at. Really solid performance there, but not enough for the victory. Bostock's Ian.
Yeah, I think Hull's Vikings with a bit more morale and in a slightly better run may have seen that off, but absolutely all credit to Scott there coming away with a point because it's not the way I saw it going, but you know they've done a decent job there and it's been 50-50, hasn't it? Neither side deserved to win it, neither side deserved to lose it, and you've got to give credit to the away side for going there and getting a point.
Yeah, I think that's the nail in the coffin, though, if I do say so, for Bostock. I think they needed that victory if they were going to challenge the top 6.
Yes, I think you might be right there.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's go for the humdinger. Let's go for the.
Oof! Really?
Let's get the vegetables out.
Let's get the 5-all on the go.
We've got the two. I think they're the two top scorers in the league. I'd have said that. Let's go to the Devils first. Are they the two top scorers in the league? We've got Sloths on 49, Devils on 38. Yes, I thought they would be. We've got Fife East Devils, now minus Ronaldinho against the free scoring Sloths. Interesting one from Fifey this week. Montella in the AMC position with the forward arrow going to Montella. It seemed to work relatively well last week, even after Barry Ferguson's red card. They saw off the leaguers. Do you like this one? Is this something a little bit different? It's a bit of a 4-1-1-2, 4-1-3-1-1, isn't it?
Yeah, it does nothing for my OCD. It's got Montella and Mapenza situation. There's obviously plenty of common sense behind it, but I don't like it. I don't particularly like Van Bronckhorst and Dyer's arrows ended up in the same place as Mackay and Kuhl's arrows, but Fifey has shown that it works. And last time out, I think even without the additional red card, I think he would have seen it home because he looked pretty strong.
Yeah, he would have done. Sorry, I was reading the chat as you were talking there. I'm sure it was all excellent content.
I haven't got the chat on at the moment actually, so unfortunately I'm not privy to the rest of the league's pearls of wisdom tonight.
Hodgie was just suggesting that quickfire show, and then with the kind of emoji which suggested it's not going to be that. Yeah.
I'll try to be more brief.
Yeah, no, it's not you, mate. It's probably as much me. 5-2-3 is the standard formation for the Sloths. 3 up front: Pizarro, Vieri, and Sand. This week's stand preferred to Tom Madeira. Yeah, they're all about goals. It's classic. We're going to score one more than you from Sloths. They won 1-0 last week against Fulchester. Relatively even game. Could say they've got. I mean, maybe lucky to come away with all 3. Got beat by Dragons the week before, and then outscored the Haggis Hunters. Put 5 past Churchtown, put 4 past Asda, put 3 past Dudley. That's what they do. They score goals, and it's this kind of setup. They haven't seemed to suffer from losing David Collins. In fact, Christian Vieri scoring 10 in 11 is pretty outstanding, really, considering. He got 9 in quick maths 31 games for Bostock. So obviously, Rob will be absolutely delighted with that.
Absolutely, goals you got Spartak.
Yeah, and Desai's season at DMC for the majority of it has been absolutely outstanding. A player that's done well for me in the Swamp this year. Yeah, gotta love that. I mean, the stats are absolutely fantastic still. Which heed to the coaches in the Super League that everyone seems to developing well, and the older players seem to be maintaining their stats.
As a growing up, absolutely loving Desai. People always talk about him these days as being a world class centre back. He was always that for me. He was always absolutely immense in that holding midfield role. So it's nice to see Champ reflecting what I deemed as being the real life situation there.
Completely agree. And Mega Horse saying that Desai's been excellent all round. And Mega Horse doing what I like, and he's getting in. I mean, he's getting ahead of the game there and putting his prediction in of 2-2. So we'll have some more of them. So yeah, and a little bit. I mean, if people want to put a prediction in, if they want to kind of do it whilst I'm chatting crap before I actually get on there. Rob saying evening, just woke up. Sloss win it clean sheet, says Wooder. I think Jens going 3-3, Duggan going 2-2, and Dimble Vicar in a 2-2. I'm assuming that they're talking about this game as well. Ian, what's your prediction for this one?
I look at this and think maybe 3-2 home win. Devils looked strong last week with this formation and this set of players. Home advantage might just tell, so I'm going to go Devils 3-2. Do
you want to do the commentary for staff, mate?
I can do if you want to, mate. Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's kick it off. Well, it's hard to say black or red or black, but there we go, black and red. Mapenza, great stuff. And it's still, oh no, Ebe Sand back in. And all of a sudden it's the Spartak Sloths that are calling the shots. And again, Sam, yes. Well, we weren't disappointed, were we? We were expecting a great game, and it's been a great game so far.
Yeah, I mean, 45 minutes have gone.
Flew by, I don't know what to say.
I got that impression. And Penza took the lead for Swindon Devils, but the Sloths hit back with Sand and Salihamovic. It looked like the Sloths had the better of it from the second that Devils scored. Maybe Devils take the foot off the gas, and that's not what they needed to see. A lot of it's all Sloths as well. Sloths the better team here, more possession, more better in the action areas. Quick look at the goals, and we've got Kieran Dyer cross finding Mpenza, who gets the goal. Albertini lost the ball to Dyer's tackle, but Sand picked up the loose ball. It's that thing with having 3 up top, isn't it? They pick up a few extra loose balls up there. And Pizarro putting a low cross to the far post, and Salahamovic. I mean, Sloths must feel like they've got about 20 players up front. It's do you mean that goals from absolutely everywhere? And we'll go to Sloths first. 7s, 8s, the 1-6 from Carlos Gamara, but I mean, Yeah, you're not complaining, are you, Rob?
No, absolutely. I mean, everyone's played decent. I felt as though that maybe Devils just kind of poked the angry beast there a little bit because, like, they were looking decent and they scored the goal, and all of a sudden it woke Spartak up. Um, and maybe it's one of those where the worst thing you can do is score against them because they just thought, sod that, we're having them.
Indeed, indeed. Rob, if you want any subs, let me. AJ saying same, please. Fantastic, Rob. Wow, this is not the best attacking performance, is it, from Devils? Lots of sixes, a 5 in there for Thomas Gravenson, and Penza's got the goal, so he's on a 7. Few 8s there for his wing backs, Van Bronckhorst, Dyer, and Christian Keeve at the back. But really disappointing. Nesta, Kuhl, Roy Mackay, who's come in this week, and Vincenzo Montella. Not what you would have.
It highlights that. I think the one weakness maybe in the Devils side at DMC, the best DMCs probably in my opinion in the teams start in other positions. So you've got Van Bronckhorst left wing back, Dyer right wing back, are both probably better than Gravison in there. But I don't think they have a DMC who can play and you can hang your hat on him as a one DMC on his own in there. Obviously, they lack that Vieira or Keane or Nicky Butt type character.
They've tried a few different things, haven't they? They've tried Emerson and Ferguson playing DMC.
Yeah.
They've got Gugu, is he called?
He's
not,
well.
Not really worked for them, has it? He's going same as, so we'll kick off the second half and see if Devils come back into it. I definitely don't think this game's over by a long shot. So
no, absolutely, plenty of goals in this one.
Yeah, let's not jinx it, shall I say? It looks like Devils started that well. Pizarro coming forward for Sloss, Roberto involved as well. Salahamovic is having a good game. Vieira could have added to his tally. Vieri could have added to his tally there for Sloss. Looks like Sloss got the better of this at the moment. A lot of their players playing really well. Mackay having a shot there. Albertini, Vieri. 15 minutes to go. Let's slow this down as we've still got one goal in it.
I think I have jinxed it, haven't I?
You might have done there. Sebastian 3. It looks like it's going to be Sloths, if anyone, who are getting the goal. Milito moving the ball into the area. I think this could be Sloths. He is as well. Julen Guerrero.
The one man we haven't talked about who's been absolutely fantastic.
What a player he's been, and I know I'm going to piss people off. Did I piss you off by clicking on him then? I do apologise.
Crikey. Sloths being sloths.
Sloths being sloths. They just can't stop scoring. This is against Devils as well, who you suggested might be in good form. Yeah, it's not what's out for them.
I didn't see this coming. Sorry, Rob.
I mean, I just want to quickly quit there, and that's Sloths.
Oh, God, that's horrendous. Don't do that.
92 minutes gone. It's 4-1 for the away side. Edwin van der Sar in net. What's going on here?
Well, I think we've had result of the night already, haven't we? Second game in, result of the night.
Oh,
that's fantastic.
Right, what I've just done is click continue without clicking on the players. So at the end of the night, and you've got to remind me, I've got to click on the match stats for that game, otherwise I'll get absolutely chastised. So I apologise to Fifey Rob for not clicking on your stats. It will happen at the end. But congratulations to Rob and Lucky Fifey. We will we'll move on and get back to that. I'm not too sure if there's a way of me doing that, but I don't think there is. Sloths temporarily top. What we will do is stick with this game, which is Leddersford versus Haggis. I know that Hodgie's about, and I've just seen that Ian's joined us in the chat. This is Hodgie, the second manager, I think, going with this formation. Might be the third now. Lee Chun-Soo up top, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, Lee Chun-Soo has proven himself at Super League standard, hasn't he? And Hodgie isn't afraid to make big calls, and I mean, the one thing you can't argue with, he's made big calls in the past and they've worked, whether he's been putting a young Torres up top, or whether he's been putting a Yusuf Hersey at left wing back, or he's just click on Gardner there, bringing him in from the reserves and putting him at left back. He's not afraid to make a call, and it does. You can never doubt Hodgie, because more often than not they do pay off.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, look at that 7.83 rating. It's like just pure class. I mean, everyone hangs the hat on the work rate, but
I
Hodges,
think you might be a bit more attached to him than most of us.
maybe. Even Ilson, another one who's maybe unfancied, but stats look solid, and he's made a really
5 assists in 9 as well.
I will respect Hodges' decision and remove the nickname. He just put it in the chat that please don't do that, because that means probably get a 5 and a red card or something. So yeah, I'll remove that. Morientes, Torres, Morientes on the bench, Torres not picked. Hasselbank not really have much of a chance this season, but going with the attacking midfielder, Lee Chun-So up top, Lee Yong-Pyo missing for tonight. But yeah, as you kind of alluded to earlier, not on the worst run of form. They won the last 2, only 1 defeat in the last 6. Looking solid at the minute. They need to keep that going though, and at home to Haggis, who are themselves not in the worst run of form, might be a tricky challenge. Haggis last time out won 4-0, the time before that won 3-0, not against slouches either, against the Devils and Hull's maybe not in the best of form, but yeah, Mike Duff getting a 10, Thomas Rosicki getting man of the match and 2 goals, Shevchenko starting to put the ball in the back of the net. Has Ian really has he turned the corner? Has he really found the key to success, or is this just a bit of a kind of a roll of the dice, and he's hit the jackpot, and he'll go back to he'll roll back to crap the next couple of weeks?
Well, he's found something, hasn't he? He has found something, but the thing is, the one thing you have to say is that whatever he has found has potentially been there all season. It's just took him 15, 16 games to find it. And when you look at the talent at his disposal, it's a shame that it has took him that long to find it. I think Mendietta's form alongside Vieira has been pretty decent as well, hasn't it? So that debate over whether Mendieta is an MC or a DMC, playing with DMC with the Arrow going forward, you kind of possibly get the best of both worlds to fill in that gap of actually not having a proper MC in your lineup. Yeah, I think he's not afraid to make big calls. Salas up front, Shevchenko at AMC. This is a huge test for them tonight. This tells Ian exactly where they are, because he's playing against one of the form sides. Both teams are still with something to play for. Possibly at the end of tonight, only one of these two teams. Well, if Haggis don't win this game, then it's just maybe one team with something to play for.
Yeah, and it becomes last chance saloon, I think, for Leadersford. I think we're getting to that. I mean, maybe not last chance saloon, but we're getting to that point where teams need to start winning. You've got to think that maybe Devils got beat tonight, but you've got to think that Astor, Gazelles, Fulchester, one of those teams are going to get a result.
Yeah, I think the one thing you're not normally used to is Leadersford's goal scoring, that they are just hovering slightly above 1 goal a game, which is very un-Hodgie-like, I would say.
Right, and a quick look at the predictions before you give your ones. You've got Macca going 1 apiece, even Macca, Tato Mourinho, the local lad going 2-0 Haggis. A lot of love for the away side here. Duggan going 2-1 as well. A couple of draws in there. Mega Horse and Wood are going 2-2. On only one of those don't make the top 6, says Fifey. You can't make because you're consistent on like 12. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Fifey's lost the plot as per. What are you going for tonight, Matt?
Well, I'm going back to boring Leadersford, and I'm going 1-0 home win. But
1-0 to Leadersford.
After we go. I've got nothing right all night.
Well, I mean, we had a disallowed goal for Salas after 3 minutes, so let's see if that comes back to haunt the Haggis boys. Ronaldinho forcing a save. Gardner involved
as well after that goal.
Every time Gardner gets the ball, Leadersford look dangerous, don't they? Someone's got a yellow card there. Candela, Vieri involved. Both teams look like they could score here. Ronaldinho, Salas involved, goes past Gardner. That's never happened before. Sorochinsky having the effort there. Listen, I mean, the tech seems to be going faster than usual. We've got 35 minutes gone, no goals.
Tackles are flying in, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all over the place. A lot of blue and black towards the end of this half. Rosicky involved, Gardner gets a 1, and there
Oh.
is Henrik Larsson, someone who's maybe underperformed for Haggis this season. But yeah, doing the business there. Wow, I did not expect that.
Well, the only other shot they had on target was a goal that was disallowed. So they're doing something right, aren't they? When they do get up there, the ball's going in the net.
From what I saw a lot of text there. I mean, we've got 18 free kicks to 10, so the tackles are going all over the shop here.
A few yellows first 25 minutes for sure.
Yeah, it's a relatively even game. Obviously, we had the disallowed goal for Haggis, and then they've got the goal at the end of the half, and everything in between really going Lettersford's way. It looks like it's Amendi at a free kick, and Larsson get above Ambrosini. The eventual goal was ruled out because Rosicky was offside. Let's go Lettersford first, Ian.
Yeah, it's been a bit damp, hasn't it? It felt better than that watching it, but when you look at that, and you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 5, 6 players with under 10 passes completed. They're not all making the tackles. They're not really at the races, are they? And it didn't quite feel like that in the commentary. But yeah, Hodges going to be disappointed with that.
It is indeed. What the hell is going on here? For some reason I've only got... there we are, I think I've started it. For some reason my kind of chat box was only giving the top chat rather than the live chat. And it seems to do on this league, you have to need to...
It's all top chat.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I mean, there was definitely a couple of comments which haven't come through tonight because I've had that on. Hodgie going Brugging for Hersey. And for some reason it's taking me ages to see where Brugging is. Brugging on for Hersey there. Hersey getting a 6 the first half. Haggis Hunters. And they've got some Jekyll and Hyde performances here. 6s and 8s, Casillas and Stam. At the 8s, Salas is attacking players, Rosicky and Shevchenko all on 6s. Mikey Duff not kind of re-delivering that 10 he got last week. A yellow card for Vieira. I feel like he's always suspended this season. Is he one game away? He might not be one game away.
He's 1 yellow away.
Is he? They missed that. Oh, he is now. Yeah, he is now. Did you see the first comment of the season from Hopkins, or did you block it? Is Hopkins here? I'm not buying it. I've not seen Hopkins in ages. Hopkins has done a chat, hasn't he? I think Hopkins did a show with Martin, I think. Second show of this season. Yeah, I've definitely missed a few. I'm looking up the chat and I've definitely missed a few of these. Anyway, Riquelme for Salas.
I haven't got the chat on tonight, so I can't tell you.
Don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. So we're going. Riquelme is coming on for Salas, and Shevchenko's moving up top.
Right, big call.
Big call indeed. Riquelme, who's underperformed for everyone. He's not covered at all. So let's see what happens here, and can he turn the corner, or can Lettersford get back into the game? And we've got some blue and black. Candela involved in there.
There's plenty of Haggis going on.
There is indeed. Vieira seems to be involved. Larsson had a shot there. Driven in ball low by Shevchenko. Looks like Haggis have come even more into the game. I mean, cue the Lettersford goal. Didn't happen that time. Sarachinsky moved into the area. I saw
He's got clicking, hasn't he? And he's definitely got them clicking.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a big point. This is like, do you mean 5 minutes to go? Rosicky gets past Maldini, Shevchenko, Candela. It's the last couple of seconds here for Hodgie to get something back. Last chance saloon, maybe. Gardner, Ronaldinho fouled. It's a penalty. No, it's not. Hard tackle. We've got a Lettersford free kick. Gardner hits the free kick. Casillas saves. Hoof the ball clear. And wow, that
second half felt like a bit of a non-event. That second half, in all honesty.
Yeah, is that a bit of a champion as well? Maybe not. Maybe a champion's a little bit harsh. It felt like Haggis had a lot more efforts than they did. The amount of free kicks and throw-ins and fouls is ridiculous. The amount of offsides. Yeah, I think like the ball's not been in play that much for this game. But yeah, Hodgie's going to be disappointed. He definitely didn't deserve to lose that game. 5 shots on target to 2. it's a lot of pressure now on these two sides. I think they'll go up on the same points after this now. So I think it's basically you need to win your games or you're not qualifying. Leathersford's Ricardo Gardner man of the match standard. 8 7s, couple of 6s in there. I mean, it got everything right, but they've not got the goal tonight. And maybe decisions to let certain players go in the past. Montella being the one kind of that springs to mind. The decisions to leave out players like Morientes. He got rid of Trezeguet as well, I think, at some point. He's now maybe coming back to haunt him. Lee Chun-Soo up top getting a 6, not what he existed. But anyway, unlucky Hodge. He probably deserved at least something in that game. But yeah, Ian won't care about that at all, will he?
Well, he won't, but I mean, I don't know, sometimes you get a feeling about a game, don't you? I remember Macca commentating on a game of mine a couple of weeks back, and like sometimes you get a feel for it, and I just felt like Haggis never really felt like they were in an awful lot of trouble, despite the stats saying that Leathersford had a lot of the game. And I think you've got to give Ian a lot of credit there, because he's been banging on all week about his however many goals he's scored in the last 2 games. But I mean, sometimes what you need is to grind out a 1-0. And you know, he's been going on about his 3-0s, his 4-0s, but he's gone away from home to a top side and ground out a 1-0. And you know, you've got to give him a lot of credit. I mean, he's made what I would have classed as being a dodgy.
Without interrupting, but I think any credit you've got to give Ian would be limited. Do you mean he's tried a few things? He's finally got something to work. Let's not go over the top here. It's still Ian.
Well, it's 3 clean sheets, isn't it, on the trot? Not many teams get 3 clean sheets on the trot in this league. So I would say I'd actually doff my cap and say, you know, ropey half-time substitution, which actually worked out all right. I think well played.
Okay, I'll tip my pipe to Ian and say, yeah, he's turned into a real Czech Republic. Anyway. Next up, we've got Fulchester United versus Dudley Hill, and not in the best of form. No wins in 6 for Fulchester. Now, there's 4 draws in there, but 2 defeats. They've not been scoring a lot since Comandini went down injured. He's not too far away from being back, but he's going with Louisau and Sutton up top tonight and reverting to his 2-6-2. This anything like his strongest 11?
I mean, I know he has this dilemma up front, and Sutton, Louisau, Saviola. For me, Saviola has to play up top, and you've just got to leave him there, even if it's on his own, regardless of his age. I think he'll get you goals, but I think he's spent pretty much most of the season at AMC, hasn't he? The Michael Owen project hasn't gone well. I think... other than that, when you look from back to front, he's about as strong as he gets. Are we missing? We're missing Val Harron, aren't we? Which is a bit of a blow to him. We know what he can get out of Val Harron, and he has options in the squad. I think Julio Arca could do a job down the left-hand side, but isn't really getting a sniff.
No, not at all.
So. It's one of those where your squad is like as good as each other, but and there's a couple of standouts, so you could probably name 2 or 3 different 11s, really.
Could indeed. Now, tonight he's trying to return to form against, the abysmal Dudley Hill, and they've been abysmal for a long time until last week, where they went away to Dudley Hill with a narrow formation, and they got the victory. And actually deserved it as well. I won't have to, without drilling in too much, I think there's not many of these games here where Dudley Hill deserved anything.
I also think there's not many of those games where he's probably played the same tactic twice on the trot. No. And I think that's what he is doing tonight, isn't he?
He is indeed.
I have a bit more hope for Dudley Hill tonight, because they're playing the same tactic twice on the trot.
Yeah. So I believe the only change in lineup is Elisa Derby's come in, not had the best of season at all. He was in the reserves for a while, not scored this season. I think Fife was calling it the worst transfer in Super League history when he managed to get rid of him. Anyway, so
I think it's a lot of few takers for him though.
yeah, so at least the Derby's coming, and I think Freddie Youngberg's been dropped out. But apart from that, same lineup. It's a strong lineup, isn't it? It's not. It's yeah, it's maybe something similar to what Andreas used to play.
It is, isn't it? But I think Andreas probably preferred two MCs. He was a big fan of Fiore on the left and the Carter on the right, wasn't he? So, but what we have here, Van der Vaart playing on his own there. In any other formation, he is exposed. Here tonight, he's perhaps a bit more protected, and he can perhaps do something in the game. But yeah, I hark back to what I said earlier, and I think the thing is, and we've all, well, you haven't, but I have been guilty in the past of going from defeat to defeat by going from tactic change to formation change. And I think sometimes you've just got to stick with something. So full credit to Steve for sticking with something, and it might just pay dividends tonight.
It is indeed. Yeah, he does. He is going with something. Yeah, he's sticking with it, isn't he? And it'd be interesting to see when he does not win a game. Then what do you call it? If he does stick with it, or if he changes again. I quite like the formation he's put in there tonight. Rage quitting coming in 12 minutes from Maka. Fair enough. Hopefully he hasn't got the PlayStation remote control to launch at the TV or the laptop or wherever he's watching. Win or bust, that simple. I still think you're still in and around there, Maka, even if you do lose tonight. Away kit change for Steve Wright. Dimble's going for a 2-0 home victory. A couple of 1-1s here from Duggan, Maka and Devils. Tatum Mourinho going for a 1-0 Fulchester win. What are we expecting from you, Ian?
I am going to call a shock 2-1 away win.
Wow, Maka's going to love that one. Let's kick this off. Mega Hearth win for a 3-2 victory as well. 3 minutes in, we've seen quite a little bit of yellow to start. Van der Vaart involved. Elisa Derby has got the goal. I can't believe I called that out. After 14 minutes, Elisa Derby gets the goal, and it's whether Maka's now got the firepower with Fulchester to come back in. It looks like the yellow wall is continuing to fire forward. Beckham involved.
Fulchester coming back into it a little bit though, aren't they?
Yeah, Louisaire had an effort there. Sutton, Louisaire again. Looks like it's all Fulchester at the moment. Giggsy, and there is a goal from Fulchester. Javier Saviola, who you've been singing his praises. Crespo had a shot there though. It's one apiece. Looks like it's going to be one apiece at half time. And I kind of expected after that. I think they had a bit of possession after the goal, Dudley Hill, but then it just seemed like that Fulchester was coming into the game more and more and more, and probably at least deserved to get that goal there. Relatively even when it comes to the action zones. It's a Crespo heading the ball on. Elisa Derby, bit of a run there and hit a fierce shot into the back of the net, and then we've got Giggsy sending the ball near post and left. Veron heading the ball down for Yavsav, who puts it in the net to cap a brilliant Fulchester move. Dudley Hill, Ian.
Yeah, they can't be too unhappy with that because it felt like they were in the game. Another one of those situations where you score a goal and you kind of anger the opposition into a little bit of action. The one thing I would say is they haven't really done an awful lot if you look at the amount of passes they've been knocking around to each other. Bunch of guys just scraping double figures, but it's been a little bit limp in that department. And Tomasi perhaps not getting involved as much as you like. You wonder whether he's pulling his weight. But at least they're in the game. I mean, a lot of the times this season that they might have been done for by now already.
Indeed, right. No one commented for ages in the chat there, so I thought I'd lost it. But then, as soon as I pressed enter, I got a couple of messages. So Lopez is coming on for Amoroso.
Just going to nip to the lavatory.
No problem, mate. Gustavo Lopez coming on for Dudley Hill. And Wood have pointed out that Amoroso, Kiotis is on an 8. Solid performance when you look at the match stats. Again, not too many passes from Fulchester. Veron with only 4 passes will be a worry, but he's got an 8 out of that somehow. Igor Beskan, his best player so far. Yepes and Nicky Bott on yellow cards. Yepes on a 6 as well. Saviola, after getting called out pre-game, managed to get the equaliser. let's see what happened to Gustavo Lopez. Has been gash all season, hasn't he? Loved Olisedi though. Interesting. What can I call out here? A couple of key passes from Ryan Giggs, 4 key tackles from Biscan, and Maka is staying as is. So I'm just going to go and kick off the second half, and Ian will join us at half point. Igor Biscan is everyone's best player. Obviously that's coming from a red. Again, let's see what happened here. Gustavo Lopez went in there, and just as Igor Biscan gets called out, he goes off injured. I'm going to preempt this and put Prutton there, and then Maka can confirm that in literally 2 seconds, and then we'll move on. So there's no comprehension of why he can't do it in the SL. Well, Prutton, yeah, there we are. Fuck. Prutton is coming on, and we're going to continue. It's still 1-1, 40 plus minutes to go. We've gone down to fast, apparently. Veron misses a long range effort, and there's a Lisa Derby, which should be decided though. Gustavo Lopez offside. There's Giggs bringing it in from the left. I'm amazed that Michael Owen hasn't made an appearance for Fulchester. Half an hour to go. Louis out a pot shot. Yepes going on a mazy run there. 20 minutes to go. Giggs, and there is Veron, who had a quiet first half, come back into it. Looks like it's all Fulchester at the minute. And there's David Beckham, and there's another goal offside. Louis out that time offside. Still looks like it could go either way, this. I'm just going to go on to fast speed. Tomasi just over the bar. It's not all done and dusted as yet. Crespo skims off the one. Crespo has equalised. For Dudley Hill, that is going to be absolutely soul destroying for the full
shockwaves through the league.
It does. It opens up that playoff spot as well. Prutton advances though with 5 minutes to go. Header from Sutton is way off target. Superb player from Fulchester remains unfinished. Into the area, Crespo steadies himself in the wet. What is going on? That is unbelievable. Hernan Crespo has stole one. He has actually stole one. That is unbelievable. And Dudley Hill from 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go have won 3-2. Wow. 3 shots on target for Dudley Hill, all went into the back of the net. It's been one of those nights for the Dudley Hill defence and goalkeeper. That is soul destroying. Unlucky Maka. Congratulations to Steve Wright. Yeah, Maka saying called it, season over. Absolute robbery. I'd say it's one of those things that happen in Champ every now and again, isn't it? Yeah, I don't really know what to say there.
Well, I feel like you can't begrudge Steve something out of the game, but whether or not they deserve all the points is not matter. But I felt like they deserved something from it.
They hung in there, didn't they? They were a threat throughout the game. What the text suggested that they were creating without having many shots on, but obviously it's just taken to the end there before they managed to get the shots of the way. And I mean, Steve definitely deserves a little bit of luck as well. He's definitely not had much of it over the past few weeks. Prutton found Giggs, who found Veron for the Fulchester goal. And then it's I don't know whether Buffon's fluffed his kick there. It went straight to Crespo, who put it in the back of the net. And then let's have a look at Gustavo Lopez. Ran at Veron, one past Veron, and then found Crespo, who's put it in the back of the net across a wet surface. And that's right at the end there. Tatum Mourinho late charge for the players for Dudley Hill. I think it might be a bit too late for that. Crespo not picking up man of the match. It must be someone on that, but picking up 8s there to his 2 goals. Only 1 assist for Gustavo Lopez in the entire squad. Elisa Davy getting the other goal. Quixote's getting 9 as well. Even though he conceded 2. Still be happy with that one, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I think a little bit of consistency there has paid dividends for him. Is that what he has done? Is that his team have really showed up second half. They've all made a contribution. Nothing really happened for them first half. They've all more than doubled their contributions for the second half. So yeah, you've got to say, apart from Steve Finnan, and I know Steve loves Steve Finnan. It's one night he's had an off night, and the rest of the team have turned up and helped him out. So, and I would also say as well, we have the Crespo conundrum. No one's really ever got much from him a lot of the time, and Steve's had some good contributions at Crespo. So I would say, yeah, congratulations and fair play, well done, mate.
So the question here is, if you you look at Fulchester, you stick your thumb over that number 3 in the top right hand corner for Dudley Hill. That doesn't look like a team that's lost, does it? 9's for Verona man of the match, 2 goals, 9's 8-7. The only 6 in the lineup is for Gigi Buffon, who a 6 has got to be being generous, really, hasn't it? For a couple of key tackles.
Three on target, 3 in. And I guess Macca's at the end of his tether with Buffon as well, isn't he? He's called Buffon out several times over the course of the season, but he sticks him in there every single week, even though he clearly he doesn't rate the guy.
I think he's had a solid season. I think it was last season he called him out a couple of times. And I know you're probably saying a few words there to try and lessen his value for a transfer.
I'm happy with Toldo, mate. Toldo's, I mean, I don't want to put the mockers on him, but Toldo's been decent for me this season. But yeah, Buffon, for me, Buffon, best keeper in the Super League. And yeah, if Macca does want to send him my way, then I won't argue. But yes, a 6 for 3 shots, 3 on target, 3 goals is a bit. I agree, is a bit generous. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, apart from the fact that maybe they haven't really dominated the game. If you look down the initial left-hand column as in passes, and they possibly haven't controlled and dominated the game as much as maybe you'd think. But they've won the majority of the tackles. Yeah, you'd perhaps think that they'd be getting something out of the game. So yeah, Macca's gonna be fuming, isn't he?
Yeah, Macca. I mean, here we're seeing red. Should we go to the league leaders next, or shall we go? Who's Churchtown? Churchtown have got you guys, haven't they?
Can't do Churchtown, can we? Well, you can go to me if you want. But,
no, we'll not do that. So we've got. Should we do Gazelle? Let's do Gazelles versus Locomotive. I've not seen either of them in the chat tonight, to be honest with you. So I don't know what's going on there. We usually see Greavesy. He might be about, and I've just not seen him.
I thought Greavesy mentioned that he might be asleep for some reason.
Maybe.
By this point of the night. I don't know whether he was on one or not, or whether he's up early tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Well, let's fly through this one then. It's do you mean it's the same formation as we've seen a few times tonight from Special Gazelles? It's the same players. Agahoa is in for the injured Cliver. Roy Keane suspended, obviously be a big miss. He's brought Battaglia in for him. We say the same every week kind of thing about his really, really strong wing backs who solid, but maybe you expect more in terms of assists.
Yeah, but at least he's got his wing backs playing wing back this week. He's had these guys playing full back, hasn't he, for a few weeks. So it's nice to see them in a bit more of an advanced position where they can maybe have more of an effect on the game. So that's probably a positive move at home.
Would you have? That's the one question I'll ask. Would you have Raul and Agahoa that way around, or would you switch that?
Well, my history of Agahoa in this league has been very hit and miss. He'll come up with a decent game and he'll have a shit game, but he would never get played up top for me. I know Craig has tried him up top several times this season and it hasn't worked, but I guess it's needs must. But yeah, he wouldn't be up there for me tonight. No, he'd be swapped over.
So Captain Shithouse, after winning 3 on the bounce, has now gone 3 without a win. Yeah, and it's generally a dull game, isn't it, with Locomotive? But I mean, Greavesy doesn't bother about that, and he seems to have gone with an even more defensive formation. He's dropped Kesman and another striker to the reserves, Filippo Inzaghi, to the reserves, which is an interesting one, along with Barsom's down there.
Barsom didn't last long, did he?
Didn't at all. Gone with Big Ronnie up front on his own, Ricardinho in behind. It's a defensive lineup, isn't it, away from home?
Yeah, it's a Greavesy lineup, isn't it? It surprises me a little bit for a couple of reasons. I think he'd kind of proved earlier on in the season that Petit can play DMC on his own and dominate proceedings. I think he'd also show that Deisler doesn't really cut the mustard, but he's kept him in there. I think there's every reason to sort of suggest that they could be a little bit more proactive, but he seems to not be doing that. So combined with Gazelles maybe pushing their wing backs forward and maybe looking a little bit more attacking, we could be in for a decent home win here.
Fair enough. So you're back in the home win, and we've got Tate and Mourinho going for the away win 1-0. Duggan going 2-0 at home. Steve Wright going 1-1. Greavesy wins with a rock bottom. I'm just going to read out Wooders' comment from before. Greavesy said he was busy power slamming his lass. Whether it was a wrestling move or a euphemism is up to you. Terry Tibbs, talk to me. So yeah, let's kick off Gazelles versus Locomotive. Big game for Gazelles in the playoff race. It's a big game for Locomotive in maintaining their playoff position. Let's kick this off and see what it gets us. It looks like the pink started strong, but there's Raoul involved early. Figo sends one wide. Agahawa gets involved as well. Looks like Gazelles are starting strong, but
yeah, but do they have anyone who can stick the ball in the net? Is the question.
Yeah, it's always a tough one. Ronaldinho.
That's one of the fastest halves I've seen.
It's always a fast half with Locomotive, and they've done absolutely nothing. But let's be honest, they haven't really looked like they're going to concede too much either. With none of them in the chat, I'm just going to quickly click over how they've done and skip the half-time chat because I'm on a bit of a time limit here. Yeah, 6s and 7s. There are 5 for Clemente. 7s and 6s, slightly better of the two teams, but nothing spectacular.
I think I'd be insulted if you even asked me my opinion on that half, to be honest.
Fair enough. That's Steve Wright, 1-1. I don't know. Well done, Steve, lad. No idea what Ian's talking about. Let's continue. Dede on the left-hand side doing some damage. Zambrotta on the right-hand side for Locomotive firing back. Now just 20 minutes left. Ricardinho hits one. Dies Lebertaglia. Red card here for Martin Lewison. Right. I think given how this is going, this has got to be... A defender's got to come on centre-back. I'm not even debating not doing that. I think I am going to take Ricardinho off. Just knowing Greavesy. And maybe do that. I don't know what you do then.
I would have left that and just put, what are you going to do, loosen off?
Loosen off on Ricardinho, I think, is the thing to do. I think I'm trying to put my Greavesy head on, and he's got 2 players running to attack midfield. He doesn't play.
He's got 16 minutes to stay in the trenches and dig it out, hasn't he? So I think that's about right.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. Right. Yeah, I'm not going to click on anything else. It's Gazelles 0, Locomotive 0, 15 minutes to go. Looks like Raoul had an effort there. 10 minutes to go. Agahawa involved, and we go to 83 minutes. Ronaldinho runs it Ferdinand. Ronaldinho low towards goal. Pelazzoli saves. Zambrotta corner. Seydorf picks it up. I mean, it'd be just
still in yellow, win it with. It could have been a champ in there.
It looks like it. I mean, it looks like Locomotive are pressing here with 10 men.
It's because they've got nothing up top, have they, Gazelles?
It's just madness, isn't it? Imagine having the best player in the world at your disposal, the chance to fill your football dream, and this is the shit you serve up. 0-0.
We should have gone there first.
I mean, it's one of those. I don't like starting with a crap game, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm not even going to talk too much about it. Really, there's your ratings, lads. 8s, 7s, not too bad, but you couldn't score Gazelles. Greavesy, what is this shit again? Carson Romolo gets a 9. Martin Lewison gets sent off at a 5. Not a bad defensive performance, but again, not really creating too much. 4 shots to 2 shots. The champ, haha.
How many thousand? 15,000 people turned up for that. Fucking hell.
Yeah, you want your money back, wouldn't you?
Mm.
It's like a cricket match getting rained off after 5 overs. Dragons versus Astor. Dragons top of the league after finishing bottom last season. They've been solid recently, 3 wins, but got beat last time out away at the Devils, which is a tough game. This week, Juninho Paulista comes in. Holovko comes in at centre half after Tribal West is injured and out for the season. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I must admit, I seem to remember the screenshot. I thought Jonsson and Holovko were the other way around when they published their team, but I might be wrong about that.
Let me check, mate. You continue talking while I check.
I think when we talk about the history of the league and like achievements, if Dragons were to pull this off this season after what they had last season, then I think it goes down in history as the absolute ultimate, the ultimate achievement. Whether or not Taribo West being out for the rest of the season hampers that, I don't know. How soon is Lucio back again? I don't know. But 2 weeks, so he could come back in and sort that out as well, because he's never been great shakes, Taribo West, in the league overall. They've done a fantastic job. I don't know how the dynamics work at Dragons, but normally you look at the way joint managers work in the past, and it's been chaos. So what they've done here is thrown in a third manager, and it all of a sudden it seems to be harmony. So you've got to take your hat off to them. You've got to say well done. They've found a formula. They don't change an awful lot, which quite often is the key again. And I look at that squad, and I don't think, there's not many guys I would swap my guys for. So
indeed,
I can't say enough about what a fantastic job the lads have done.
Yeah, they have done a great job, and that lineup was correct with Holovko on the right, Janssen on the left, Lucio out too, as you mentioned, so they're missing probably the first two choices. You could question maybe Marcus Babbel might be a better choice than Holovko, or potentially dropping Ibrahim Saeed back, which they did a few times last season. It's the 4-1-3-2 wing backs for Tato, who sent me the most confusing lineup message I've ever had in my time in the Super League, so please don't do that again, Tato. I'm sure you won't. You actually apologised for it when you sent it, so but here we have it. Guillaume and Adolfo up front. He's definitely gone for a bit of a different feel tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah, but he's inherited somebody else's team, so I mean, you are going to be feeling around for something that's your own, that belongs to somebody else, until it becomes your own. Very strong midfield. Whether he's got it all in the right order or not, I don't know. I look at maybe Koluzny. The temptation would be to drop Koluzny back with Foe. Rui Costa is full of goals. Whether he is at MC and not AMC, I don't know so much. Nedved can obviously, we've seen Nedved being dropped in all sorts of places and plays well. So yeah, he's got guys on the bench who can play. He's got decent guys all over the shop. But the thing is with Tato, we know he's a top manager, but he's obviously playing catch up with someone else's team. So it's how quickly he can figure things out, really.
Yeah, completely agree. It's a tough one. Got to show my gaffer some support. This is Ian Campbell in the chat who's supporting Tato. Would have told him to calm down. Completely agree, but he's not his team yet until he has a transfer window to kind of get playing with it. We've got a prediction for this one, mate. Prediction in the chat as well, please.
I mean, I don't see anything other than a home win, but I haven't got an awful lot right tonight, which is a good job that we're not submitting predictions, because I think I'm top of the predictions league, so it's a good job we're not submitting any, because I wouldn't be top by the end of tonight.
Yeah, Josh Lander, I think, is assistant manager or involved with the Astra Athletic setup at the moment. He's going for a 4-1 home win.
He's at Bostock, isn't he? He's the assistant at Bostock.
Is he? I might be mixed up there. I was on holiday when this was named, so I'm not too sure what the plan is there.
I think Scott might still be looking for a director of football as well. So I don't know whether there's still a job opportunity there or not.
Indeed, I mean, there's definitely areas in the league. Yes, Josh is a part of Bostock. I do apologise for that. Martin Peterson, don't know who he is. Saying Mon the Dragons. Must be a new fan. Welcome to the league, Martin.
Yeah, don't be my name as a director of football. That's for sure.
Steve Wright going 2-1, Seattle Mourinho going 3-0, Dragons. Let's kick this off and see where we get to. Going to be a late night, this one. Is it 11 already? I did my best, man. I did my best. We've got 27 minutes gone. We've got no goals. It's Nedved involved on the left hand side. Boma, Joe Cole, Constantino involved. Looks like we've had both teams create chances, but not create a lot. This is similar to the last game in that it's absolutely awful.
Yeah, we could have gone to either of these first, couldn't we, in the end?
Yeah. and 0-0 at half time. And I'm not going to dwell on any of that crap. That was terrible. Dragons first up. If they want to tell me if they want a sub, Bowman and Johnson getting the 8s. Apart from that, it's 6s and 7s. Apparently, Wood is at the wheel when it comes to substitutions this week, after he was ignored last week, and he thinks that the other guys cost them the game. He's bringing Michael Carrick on though, so any respect I did have for Wooder has just gone. He's bringing him on for Ibrahim Saeed.
Oh, so wow.
I don't understand.
That pleased you though, because you hate Ibrahim Saeed. I know that.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, there's levels here. It's Michael fucking Carrick, man. Look at the state. I'm amazed he's in the Super League.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I
mean, I've rumbled with him in the past by accident.
Solid player in real life. I mean, it's one of those. He was in a very good Manchester United team. Won what do you call it? Won titles. Maybe he might not have been the player that.
In real life, he was great.
Yeah, maybe he was solid, and he was in a very, very good team. In the same way that people would say that Henderson's solid in a very, very good Liverpool team, if that makes sense to you.
No, it's no sense.
Yeah, I'd say Henderson's slightly better.
They're both top players.
Okay. 6s, 7s, 8s for Tato's boys, and Tato's taking off Nedved for Danielson. Never want to shy away from the substitution. Nedved, who's definitely his best player, but he's going off, and Danielson's coming on. And then Guillaume is coming off for Bosco Balaban.
Yeah, Balaban did bits for Alf, didn't he? A few years back, burst off the scene, Micah Richards style, and had a really good spell.
He also scored a last-minute equaliser against Bolton Phoenix for Panathinaikos in my first season with Phoenix. So, yeah, I've got nightmares regarding Bosco Balaban. I was like going to do the double over Panathinaikos, and then we've gone to 62 minutes and nothing much has happened. Now 75 minutes, and Bosco Balaban looks the biggest threat. Last 10 minutes, this has been terrible, lads.
Whoever wins this has just got away with one.
We don't have 2 0-0s on the trot. Martin Peterson again. Martin, thanks for your input. Saying bang average, by the way. Josh saying Peterson, Michael Carrick's a poor man's Granit Xhaka. Yeah, a lot of love for. I mean, a lot of high praise here for Michael Carrick. Last 3 minutes in this dreadful game. Danielson bang average as well.
Bloody hell!
What is going on, Ian? What is going on?
This is a great advert for Serie A.
It's a good job we kind of left these towards the end, isn't it? Holland must be careful. 91 minutes goal. Janino Paulista, and that's the final whistle.
Crikey. Well, you've got to say though. I mean, I know. All joking aside, I mean, Tato's gone away there to the league leaders who normally wallop everybody, and he's gone and been the better team. So you've got to say well done to Tato for that. You might feel he could have nicked it. But on the other hand, for Dragons, they were looking to consolidate a top 6, a top 2. It's another point in the right direction. So, you know, I guess Dragons are going to be happy with the point, but Astor probably wanted a little bit more, given their chasing position. But you know, they've done well there, Astor, in the end, really.
Yeah, we're getting apologies from the Dragons lads and apologies from Tato in the chat, which is much appreciated. And yeah, I think you should be ashamed of yourself, lads, because that's pretty gash. Not bad ratings for either side. Hoffland getting a 10 in man of the match, a couple of few 8s and a 9 there for Ronnie Johnson for Dragons. But yeah, this isn't why we're in the Super League. And yeah. According to Dimble, Church Jenner here to finish the job off and give everyone a good night's sleep. But first, we're at third place, Northern Burn, who've got the chance of leapfrogging, I believe, the league leaders, and will probably go into second, given that Sloth's won. But yeah, not many changes from you recently.
I mean, this is one thing I've learnt in this league. Don't simplify your team instructions and don't make changes. So for me, when I used to deliver a lot of detailed changes via email, and now I very much try and give as little changes as possible via DM. This week has been unfortunate. I've had Gerrard play every single minute of the season, and now he's out for a few days with a sprained wrist. I mean, if I'd had the chance to speak to him, it would have been strapped up and he'd have been playing, but he's cried off. And Nakata is obviously injured as well. So 2 changes. Everything else the same. Stanic comes in and he deserves. I mean, he probably should have been playing a lot more. Stanic. He could have come in and played when Henry had a little bit of a lull. But I've stuck with those guys up top.
Robin not really delivered for you this season. I was going to click on Del Piero, but I feel like he's been clicked on every week and spoken
about. No. The thing is with Robin goes in there because he's got the midfield about him as opposed to just.
Yeah.
I'd like to get Robin further forward if I could, and that's my only worry. Is I know I get criticised for it. I normally like a more one defensive guy in the middle, and I've got 2 AMCs in the middle.
That's definitely a high. Like I would have the 1 defensive guy there and your 2 attacking midfielders here. If you were going to have 2 defensive, I'd probably go with 2 then 1, if you know what I mean.
I think some guys can handle themselves as a DMC on their own. I think Gattuso's one of those. I don't think he needs someone next to him, but yeah, I don't know. Dimble's obviously got these guys doing things, so it bothers me a little bit.
I mean, this is the kind of Kieran / Dimble swap shop at the moment. I think Dimble's back in charge again tonight. Only 1 win in recent memory. That was away at Hulls, who were, and he's gone with a 2-5-1-1-1 love train. I think Dimble looking ahead to next season and things he might be able to do, changes he might be able to make. But yeah. This is just a bit of fun, maybe. Trying not to get absolutely hammered. Obviously, giving you guys a lot of respect there by going with what is known in the Super League term.
Netti, Kaladze, Okoronkwo, Terry, Totti.
This used to be the Great Wall of Parma, didn't it?
But Parma wouldn't play the 2 centre backs, would he? He'd probably normally play one of them and have someone else offering something forward. But even Jens Lehmann, who was probably goalkeeper of the season a few years back, I mean, they've got a great team there. So you won't. I mean, you'll forgive me for going quiet and sort of just pacing around my room as I watch this one.
Yeah, no problem. I'll talk my way through it from now on, mate. No problem. Let's get some predictions in the chat, and I won't ask you, Ian, because obviously you'll say that you're going to smash them, and I know you're far too modest to kind of actually say that. Interesting blown and blew away kit from Churchtown. I quite like the look of that. Easy to read. That's a key thing in the Super League, that your away kits and home kits are easy to read. It's the wall of meat in honour of the Turks who shat it this week. Tater going 2-0 to the Northern Burn. Wooder, nice one to Tater flying the Astor flag. I think Hoffland did a number on Janina, blah blah. 4-1 to the home side from Dam Champ Mega Horse. Steve Wright won 2-0. A lot of people going for a home victory. Josh going for an away victory, 1-0. Let's kick this off and see what we get. Looks like a bit of back and forward in the first 10 minutes. A couple of efforts here and a goal actually for Churchtown. Javier Zanetti after 10 minutes, probably one of the key men in that team. Obviously Northern Burn went 1-0 down last week and came back to win, so I won't be too worried this early, but never nice to go behind. Actually looking pretty solid though, Churchtown. George Atos just coming into the game though for Northern Burn. Del Piero, Henri, Totti, Yakubu, both teams look like they're having a lot of the ball. Totti picks up a yellow card. 39 minutes gone, a lot of text in this first half. Are we going to get an equaliser or a second goal before half time or not? We go into half time and both teams just have one shot on target. I felt like there was a lot of midfield action there without too many shots. A lot of free kicks for Northern Burn as well. Not the most entertaining. We seem to have gone. I mean, at least we've got a goal in this one. Unfortunately for Ian and Northern Burn, it's a Cristiano Doni corner headed by Javier Zanetti. I'm going to go to Churchtown first to 1-6 or 7s, 8s. It's a relatively solid first half performance. Zanetti getting the goals, Donny getting the assist. Don't think he'll have too many complaints there about that. Let's see if Dimble wants to make any changes before we have a quick look at Northern Burn. Dimble's going as is, so Northern Burn, not the best so far. Ian Del Piero on 83% fitness. Happy with that? Think like you got a chance coming back into it? Any changes?
Not happy at all, mate. I don't know what to do, to be honest, because they're having all the action in my area, which is the big problem. I don't have a massive amount of options on my bench, so I'm going to go unchanged.
Unchanged, no problem at all. No worries, I'll continue to chat away. Sometimes the game throws them up. I think if you replayed it, it would be a different story. I think this is what I'm still talking about, is game, the Dragons versus Aster game. Let's continue this. Oh, Isaac Okoronkos picked up a second yellow and given your boys a route back into the game. I'm just going to wait for Dimble to tell me what he wants to do. Does he want to drop one of his defensive midfielders back? Does he want to go one at the back? Let's see what he suggests here. Don't want to start shifting stuff around. Who's he got on the bench? Kaheba Kaladze, who could play centre back, as can Yakubu. Not too sure can Boateng do it as well. Yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. One at the back, wow. John Terry moves to the centre and Churchtown continue with one at the back. And let's kick this game off. He's got a full half to play, really. And it looks like he's gone straight back on the attack, though. Donny, Totti with the effort there. But here comes Ian Robin, header from Tizalco. Elba crossing the line for Churchtown. And Contra involved, which is going fast now. Someone got upended. Del Piero, Henri moves on it, and there's a goal for Alessandro Del Piero, kept on despite low fitness at half time and repaying his manager's faith. Del Piero involved again. Henri held back. Looks like Northern Burn starting to turn the screw here. 5 minutes to go. Can they get that all important winner, or can Churchtown hang on? Helps the ball on. Kaladze forward at Elwa. Samuel even gets a lecture from the referee. Donny free kick. Henri clears the ball. Looks like this is just kind of fizzling out. Driven low by Stanic. Oh, what a last minute winner for Mario Stanic, getting his first ever goal for Northern Burn. Heartbreak for the Churchtown lads. Unlucky Dimble, unlucky Kieran. Given the red card and how much Northern Burn came into that game, they probably deserve that, but still unfortunate. Good performance there, Ian, really, looking at the stats.
Yeah, the stats look a lot better than how the game felt. I felt like I absolutely stole it. To be honest, it felt like Churchtown were the better team. Whatever Dimble had, giving himself a foothold in the game. I don't know what he's done, but whether it was long ball and pumping it up there with the guys behind protecting it, I don't know. But it felt like he's been absolutely robbed. I mean, I'll take it all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The red card for Okoronkwo was just for being angry at the referee, maybe a little bit harsh there. Tizalco turned assist across the ball to the left for Del Piero to get your equaliser, and then it was a Stanic effort, saved by Lehman, but then he picks up the rebound. A couple of people mentioned the trap there. Obviously gutted for Dimble, didn't deserve that. Wooder suggesting that one at the back, honestly away from home with a man down, maybe got what he deserved. Maybe a little bit, give me a bit of a callback to the other Churchtown manager, Kieran, maybe a little bit naive in that situation to think that you can play a half away from home with 10 men and one at the back. Dimble saying fuck you, Wooder, and well played, Ian. Yeah, I see what you mean about the text. The text maybe suggested the game was more even than the stats suggest, and that you kind of maybe stole the victory. I think you probably deserved at least a point, though. One marking, one striker seemed reasonable to me with the wall of meat there.
The one thing I will say though is, like, I will give a big thumbs up to the auction, the Super League auction. I picked Stanic up in the auction. He's done bits, and he's actually scored an absolutely priceless goal for me tonight. So yeah, I'll at least say that's one positive thing that's come out of the league this season.
I think it will be happening again at the end of the season. 6 yellows or 7 yellows if you include the second yellow for Okoronkwo. Anyway, it's maybe a little bit dirty from the Churchtown lads. Maybe we need to calm that down. Calads are picking at 10 and getting man of the match. Zanetti getting their goal as mentioned. Really good numbers on terms of the stats side of the rating side of things for Northern Burn. Assists coming from Robin and Cizalco, as we kind of mentioned. 9 for Cizalco and Cannavaro. Cizalco continues his good form, turning provider this evening. Del Piero continues his solid season and I was one of these people who kind of rips Del Piero off as a bit of a non-Super League player. Kind of proved me wrong there a little bit. And yeah, as you said, Mario Stanic having a quiet evening, touched the ball less than anyone else apart from the keeper, but got that all-important, vital goal at the end and was definitely getting his shots away throughout the match. Yeah, solid performance. Obviously, you say you're quite happy to have stole one there. I think that's maybe been a little bit modest, but yeah, there we are. Quick run through the results, and we've got a 0-0 Dragons versus Astor, which was terrible, as was Gazelles versus Locomotive Boston. Fulchester went 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go and got champed, as Macca would say, by Dudley Hill. Macca's been AWOL since. I dread clicking on the my Twitter feed to see what he's put. Hulls 1, Bostock 1, Leddersford 0, Haggis 1. Haggis vital victory in their campaign to get in the playoffs. Leddersford making it a bit harder for themselves. Northern Burn cementing their place in the playoffs and cementing Churchtown's spot at the bottom of the league. Devils absolutely demolished by the Sloths, which gives us, with 5 games to go to the end of the playoffs, Spartak Sloths sitting pretty at the top of the league. Northern Burn and Dragons just behind them, 1 point behind them, 37 points. Locomotive Devils and Fulchester remain in the playoffs. No teams outside the top 6 seem to be taking advantage of the kind of relatively poor form of Fulchester. It's amazing that they're still up there. Astor, Astor got the point tonight. Gazelle only got a point tonight. Leddersford, yeah, the one team that has made strides are Haggis.
Big wins tonight.
They're definitely in the mix now, just 2 points off the playoffs. And yeah, as we kind of mentioned, Hulls, Dudley Hill and Churchtown, it's probably a little bit of a step too far for them. Bostock would need something special, and I said tonight that that was their last chance, but considering they're still only 4 points away, I don't think that's maybe the case anymore. There we are. Nothing's changed still in it, Scott said. Good show, lads. Edwards will be hitting you up when I'm over at Workington in July. I'm not too sure, Edward, Ian, I mentioned to you that Barrow are playing Bolton in a pre-season friendly in July, so maybe that's
yes.
If that could all tie in, we could go and see the mighty Wanderers.
I would love it, mate. Yeah, we'll get Ian Evatt back down here. I'm sure he's in for some grief.
No doubt. Lee Dimble saying Calads are flying on the wing. Yes, so thanks very much for tonight, mate. I'll not dwell on it too much. I'll quickly put the fixtures up. I know people like to look at them at the end of the show. You guys away at Locomotive, definitely a big game in the offing. And I'll go through the stats and stuff on whenever I get a chance. But yeah, sorry it wasn't as quick as advertised, but we got through it in an hour and a half. Thank you very much, Ian, and I shall have a good evening. You can have a good evening,
cheers,
everyone, mate. And I shall catch you all soon.
Good night, lads.